Hello, Braves Country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming for Hardcore Braves, and I got my man Andrew Davison on here. How you doing today, Andrew?
Doing well, Ken. It's a nice. We're taping this on Wednesday, so it's been a nice day, and hope you're doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we get this long break, so we kind of like it doing the pods. We have to get a bunch of pods off before each series and after each series, and so it's nice to be able to space them out. Y'all gonna get this. Y'all are watching this on Thursday. Another day off in Braves country. The team will be back at the facilities. Sure, it'll be volunteer because not everybody can make it back from their little vacations. But they're in town. They'll open up the cages. Andrew's worked at the stadium. I've been around the stadium. So you'll see them come in. Few will be in. I have seen it where the whole team's been almost in, hadn't you, Andrew? So they'll be in there working at the facility today. Are we going to be excited to be back at the stadium this weekend?
We better be excited. I'm going Friday night, but I'm excited. I hope the team is because man, do they need to get off to a good start just like they did in April.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important first week. So, what we're going to do on this preview, so y'all stay with us because we're going to quickly go into the Rangers series. We got the Texas Rangers, another first place team coming to town. And, but we're also going to do our second half season preview. It's the best time to put it on. Ryan's real busy, and Aaron is too. We got them on, but we'll get their thoughts on the hip coil and the trade deadline a little bit with Aaron. So me and Andrew will give you ours here and what we kind of expect. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the Rangers. The Rangers coming in 49 and 47, which put them about 6.5 behind us. So that tells you a little bit how strong the National League East is. They would be actually tied with the Nationals. So they're kind of playing like the Nationals too, except there's the one big difference. Their offense is not as good as the Nationals, but the Nationals definitely don't have anybody like Jacob DeGrom. So they're kind of interesting ball teams. We'll get into them. The Braves are 55 and 40. They're 2 games up on the Phillies. They're 3 games up in the loss column. Now, we'll talk more about this on the trade deadline, Andrew. And I was talking to Ryan on the phone today. Here's how Dave Dombrowski looks at it. Forget about everybody else. Forget about Twitter. Forget about all the things. Dave Dombrowski looks at it. The Phillies are 4 back. And the reason why he looks at it, they're 4 back, he has to decide how much he wants to buy, how much he wants to spend. Well, how are they 4 back, Coach? Well, they're 3 in the loss column. Until the Braves lose, they have not lost a game, and that's how the teams look at it. They don't care about the win column and look at the loss column because once you've lost it, you can't go back and get it. If the win column, you can always go get the win column, but you can't go get the loss column. So they're 3 back. The fact of the matter, the Braves are off to a great stretch against them. They're 5 and 1. They only need to win 2 more games the rest of the season, and if they end up exactly tied, the Braves will win their division. So in Dave Dombrowski's eyes, they're 4 games behind, and so this is a pivotal stretch for the both teams over the next 10 days. Andrew, does that make sense to you as a fan that that's how the Phillies are looking at it? They're actually 4 back with about 13 games before the trade deadline.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. A lot of people try and listen to that. Listen to Ken a couple extra times, and you'll really see what he means. Maybe even slow him down. But that's a really great point because, and we know Dombrowski. He
Hmm.
sees it the same way. When he's got it, when he smells blood in the water, he's gonna go for it. But the next 10 days for both of the teams, the Phillies and the Braves, are super important, and the Braves have got to get off to a good start.
They do, and the reason why is the Phillies have their longest homestand of the year, but it might be one of their toughest stretches of the year. They welcome the New York Mets. You may laugh because the Mets have struggled this year. The one team that they've always handled fairly well are the Phillies. They've always played the Phillies well. The Phillies struggle against the Marlins, and so do the Mets. We normally don't struggle against the Marlins, but that's usually an advantage us. But then they host the Dodgers and then the Yankees. And if you saw the way Bellinger and Rice swung the bats, they will not be fair in this Phillies roster. So Judge will not be back. That's an important game for them. So what do we get? We get the Rangers, first place team, the Padres, who needed a 4 day off break more than any team in baseball. The Padres were falling apart. So we'll see how they come out of the break. And then we have a tough trip. We have to go to Baltimore. They'll be fighting for their lives. So That's how we stand. These next games are huge. The Braves need to be the better of those two teams by the end of that. So whatever that is. So next 13 games, and we have the Nationals, and they play the Orioles after us. So whatever we do in those games and what they do with them will dictate how both these teams go. So let's look at the Rangers. The Rangers come in, as I said, a game and a half up. These teams are almost identical, except for one big factor. The Braves are 14th in OPS 722. The Rangers are 17th in OPS 719. The whip, if their pitchers, Braves are 7th, the Rangers are 10th. They're almost tied, 1.23, 1.25. The overall ERA is 3.60 Braves, 4.13 Rangers. The difference is that both their starting rotations are at 4, and the Braves bullpen's at 3.06, and the Rangers are at 4.53. The Braves have the better bullpen. That's a huge advantage this weekend, Andrew.
Yeah, it really is. And hopefully sooner than later we start hearing some good news on Robert Suarez. I'm not saying he's going to be back this weekend, but I think it'd be really key that we get some news maybe next weekend or maybe a week and a half, something like that. But the Braves bullpen is a lot better than Texas's. We got the big six still going in there. And this bullpen, like I've said on this podcast many times, is the strength of our team, and they're going to take us as far as they can.
And the problem for the Rangers are, we were going to have Jeff Bates on here from Texas Rangers Clubhouse, but he had an illness in his family, so we apologize for that. We'll try to get Jeff or Evan on maybe down the road. Who knows? These two teams might have to do something later on. We'll see. But the biggest problem that the Rangers have right now is our bullpen will be rested. And our bullpen rested is really tough. You almost have to get them a little tired. So let's go look at the pitching matchups. We don't really know. The Rangers have not announced their pitchers, and they probably will by the time this podcast is out a little bit afterwards. The reason why they're waiting is because Jacob DeGrom has a strained lat. He missed his last start. So we'll see if he can go in the series coming out. They may make him go at the end of this stretch. So he gets even further time off. That would not be a bad thing. As much as I'd love to see Jacob DeGrom throw this weekend in person, I'll just watch him on TV later down the road. Andrew, is that your feelings? We missed DeGrom. That won't be the worst thing.
Yeah, I don't like facing Jacob DeGrom. He kind of kicks our butt throughout history. Yeah, sure, we have some really good wins against him, especially late in the 2022 season. But Jacob DeGrom has had our number before, and I don't want to see him. I'll see him on TV next week.
He's easily their best pitcher. He's got a 3.49 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. That tells you he's kind of pitched in some bad luck too. He has give up the long ball in bad situations, and even then he's pitched well. So the other starters they have to pick from, and we're going to get three of these if Jacob can't go, are Mackenzie Gore, 4.63 ERA, Nathan Evaldi, 4.04, Kumain Rocker, Tennessee guy, 4.40, Vanderbilt, of course, and Mark Leiter Jr. is 5.29. I'm thinking we're probably definitely going to get Gore and Evaldi somehow. And, I don't know, whoever they decide. Either it might be Rocker, it'd be DeGrom. I don't think we're going to see Leiter. With that said, all four of them allow a lot of runners on base. Some of it's control. That tends to be Rocker's problem, and sometimes Evaldi can get off point. He's a great pitcher, by the way. And some of it is hitability. That's Gore and Leiter's problem. So just looking at their pitchers going into it, starting pitchers, how do you feel about the hitters going into that weekend?
Our hitters should be ready to work the count a little bit, use it to their advantage, and see if they can get the fastball and fastball counts and hit it hard. As you said, Kumar Rocker, he likes to throw the ball around the plate. Sometimes it's kind of like watching a younger Luis Severino. That's what I like to kind of think of as Kumar Rocker. He's still got a high velocity fastball, but you don't know where it's going. Evaldi, it's hit or miss right now with him. He's either going to shut you down or he may give up 4 runs. We've seen Mackenzie Gore a lot when he was with the Nationals, so we should be pretty familiar with there. Maybe outside of Mauricio Dubon and maybe one or two other guys in our lineup, but we should be very familiar with Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, and the thing with Nathan is Nathan needs to really hit at the bottom of the strike zone. That's what's got him in trouble this year. He's not his location's been a little off, but we know the last time we faced the Rangers in Texas, Evaldi had a perfect game going into the sixth inning. So he can be a tough ride. And then so we said the bullpen is weak, but they're in first place. If they're in first place and their bullpen's a little down, that means they probably got really good back of the end guys. So let's touch on them real quick. Their whole guy is Jacob Eunice, who used to be a starting pitcher, and he's went the other way and is now a top-notch reliever. He's got a 1.02 WHIP. Yeah, it's 1.02. That's pretty good. And he's got 11 holds, 2.80 ERA. And their closer, hopefully you saw him last night. It's Latz. He's kind of bursted on the seat. He has 18 saves. He has 0.67 WHIP. That means he's Dylan Lee-esque, Robert Suarez. That's how good their two back end guys. So I don't have to say it. I'll let Andrew just say it, but we better have a lead at the end of these ball games. Don't you think?
You better be up by 2 runs in the eighth and ninth inning.
Yeah, yeah.
If
They're tonight.
not, if not, you're going with trouble. And like Ken said, Jacob Junis, former starter. You don't want to see him in extra innings.
No,
I'll tell you that right now. If
no.
he's been amazing. Don't want to see him in extra innings.
And if it's a tie game, they'll probably let him go 2 innings, like eighth or ninth. So they have an advantage there. I don't know if any of our guys, the high leverage guys, they really want to go 2 innings other than Dylan Dodd. He would be early in the game anyhow. So let's look at their offense. Offensively, Jacob Young has been their guy. As bad as our third baseman is, it's been really good. Jacob Young and Josh Young, 819 OPS. Second in OPS with a bats that qualify is old friend Jock Peterson, and he's hot lately. He's got a 923 OPS in the month of July, and I'm sure he'd love to visit the Chop House. Zico Duran's been good. Brandon Nemo's been good. The problem with Brandon is he's been banged up a lot this year. Again, I hope he don't have the Ronnie syndrome. I hope both those guys they can get their legs healthy. They seem like their legs can't quite get healthy. The guys that have struggled, Evan Carter's been the biggest disappointment for them. 632 OPS. He's right in that Austin Riley territory. They don't know what's going on, trying to get him to figure it out. So offensively, you look at our pitchers going to this. What do you think of the Rangers lineup?
It's really interesting because they have the talent to put up a bunch of runs and hit a bunch of homers, but they don't score a lot and they don't hit a lot of homers. I mean, Brandon Nimmo was a thorn in our side when he was a New York Met. Ezekiel Duran's been pretty good. Josh Young he's a really good third baseman. And then of course, Jocktober. You know, we'll see where that lineup goes this weekend because they're facing some of our best pitchers, but it's an opportunity to really catch a team that we don't get to see very often.
Speaking of those pitchers, this is who we're getting. We have announced our rotation. We're going Chris Sale Friday night. I like that. That probably means he's going to pitch twice on the homestand. Most likely he'll pitch on the Thursday afternoon game against the Padres next week. We'll probably throw everybody out. Martin Perez is scheduled to come back, so they got a lot of leeway in there to let him still get his days off and pitch. The kid's going to go Saturday. Owen Murphy. I think the whole Braves country is excited to see him pitch. I love him being sandwiched in between him. I got a long discussion with my friend Jason Reese, but it was explained to me by one of the writers. It makes the most sense. You got Grant Holmes going on Sunday, and you got Sale going on Friday. You put the kid in between them because that way, if any one of them two should be able to go deep for you. And if the kid does get in trouble, we're not saying he will, but he is making his major league starting debut, and anything may happen. So I think he'll pitch well, but if it does, you definitely going to want your long man in the game at that point. So I'm excited. I think we really kind of got him on the rotation, to be honest with you, this weekend, just because we know our ace can throw. They don't know if theirs can. What do you think about the three guys going this weekend?
We need Chris Sale to go out there and dominate. It was unfortunately the bad omen rain hurt him in his last start, and I think we would not have lost that game, in my opinion, if Chris had been able to go his full start. St. Louis just couldn't touch him. And I think he's had enough rest now, especially with him not throwing in the All Star game. Chris has had a lot of time off to work and then even work on his slider. And then that fastball velocity Friday night's going to be nice and high. And it's going to be a really big start for Chris. I'm really excited for Owen Murphy and Grant Holmes as well.
I am too. I'm excited to see all of them, and I know me and Andrew are going to be at the game Friday, so I'll make sure you drop by and see us. We'll be pumped to see Chris Sale. I think the rain cost us a winning homestand before we went 3-4 because I think the rain on Sunday, I like to call it a sunshine delay. We sat in the sunshine most of the time for an hour and a half, cost us in that game, and definitely the rain on the road trip cost us a winning road trip. So with that said, who is the relief guy that needs to be huge for us this weekend?
They got a lot of lefties, so I'm going to go Dylan Lee.
I like
I'm going to go
it.
Dylan Lee.
Yeah, I like it. I think Tyler Kinley. So funny thing I'm gonna say. I think Tyler Kinley is going to have some big moments to bridge. We haven't really looked at that as much. He's actually done a decent job filling in kind of for Robert Suarez. Didier's been there too, but they're trying to keep his pitch count down. So I think Tyler may throw multiple games. So let's take Tyler Kinley. The starters this weekend. Who's got the biggest start in your eyes?
Owen Murphy. I'm going with the kid. I think the kid's looked really good, and he's been what has impressed me the most with Owen is his confidence. He hasn't been scared out there. We've seen other pitchers in the past, like Didier last year, or Jr. in his first couple starts this year. They were nervous. They weren't confident up here. Owen Murphy, since he's touched the bump up here, has looked confident and he's looked ready to go. And I believe Owen Murphy. I'm looking forward to his start on Saturday night.
I think I'm going to go the guys following him, and I think it's because of Owen Murphy. I'm going to go Grant Holmes. So let's go two scenarios. Owen pitches lights out. Grant, personal reasons, is probably pitching for his spot in the rotation down the road, especially when we trade and add a starter, which I'm 100% sure we're going to. If Owen pitches bad, now Grant's got team concerns and he needs to go deep in the game. So I'm going to go Grant Holmes has the biggest start Sunday. I just don't know what the reason is, if it's a personal for 6-6 or if it's a team reason. I hope it's a personal reason that Grant's motivated to stay in this rotation. And he's going to tell Martin Perez and Bryce Elder, who are going to come behind him this week, boys, you're going to have to pitch better than this because I'm staying in the rotation. And so we'll see. I'll go Grant. MVP to click as far as hitting the baseball. And what you got?
Going Matt Olson.
You always take
It's
Matt.
No, I usually go three guys. I usually go Matt, Michael, or Ozzy. But this weekend, Matt always plays well after the All Star break. And I got a sneaky feeling Matt's going to the Chop House once or twice this weekend.
I like it. I like Matt having a good series. I'm going to go with Mauricio Dubon.
I
I
knew
think these
you'd go with him.
Yeah, I think these games are going to be tight, and I'm going to go with a guy who hits 375 with two outs and runners in scoring position. I think as I told everybody in November when I got so excited when we got him, he's not going to really impress you a lot. You're going to get pissed off at him like we did the last game on the road trip. Ryan, like you said on the recap, was ready to go down there and kick him right in, you know what? And then he took a really good at bat his last at bat. That's what Mauricio does. It's not that he's taking at bats off, but boy, sure like he does sometimes. But when you put two men on and with two outs, men on with two outs, he's going to hit. So I go Mauricio.
His
So,
two strike approach where he doesn't stride
oh yeah,
is I love it. It just I mean, I know he's not a power hitter, but that reminds me a lot of Albert Pujols because Albert never stride.
yeah,
And I'm not comparing, but it reminds me of him.
yeah. I agree. It's a good comp. He finds a way to get on base. So, what as far as the series, what do you think? We're getting swept. We're winning one, take two, or we're going to sweep them?
We're taking 2 or 3. We're going to get this ship back sailing in the right direction, and we're going to start heading north, and we're going to take 2 or 3, and one of them we're going to win by more than 2 or 3 runs.
Well, that's good. I like it. I hope it's one of the days we're in the ballpark. Me and you can celebrate. Uh,
Yeah.
I think we're going to take 2 out of 3. And I also think the Phillies are going to take 2 out of 3. And the reason that's good for us is because they'll take 3 more games off the calendar. We're the first place team. We're trying to knock days off the calendar. So as long as we match the Phillies this weekend, they can't catch us. As long as we match the Phillies the rest of the way, they can't catch us. So I'm going to say 2 out of 3. Rangers have a lot of grit. They really play hard. You watch their games. I watched some film of them. This series against the Astros. That was a great series. Those two teams love to go back and forth. So I watched that. So we both go 2 out of 3. We both still got us in first place when we join y'all before the Padres series. So let's get into our second half outlook. It's very interesting. So we have 67 games left. Here's the schedule. And do you agree with this? The Braves have the 14th hard. It's hard to do this because you don't know who's going to get hurt, who's going to add, and all those things. But right now, July 15th, we have the 14th hardest schedule. That means we're right in the middle. We have a mid schedule the rest of the way. And they take into account home games. They take into account West Coast trip. We don't have any of those. We have more home games. We have road games, level of competition you're playing, where you play them. That's why they come up with this. They come up in the week of 14th. With that said, the Phillies have the fourth hardest schedule. Phillies have a gauntlet, and part of that is they got to go travel west. They travel west at the end of August. This is like the worst time to travel west because it's the dog days and you're butt tired, and they got to go, thank God, to Seattle. Of all the places, they got the
Hmm.
furthest address, and then they get the Angels, and then they get the Diamondbacks, and that could be a pitching staff beat up, especially the bullpen. The Diamondbacks can hit. So we don't know what the Angels will be by then. The Angels could be a AAA team, so that's not good for us. But the Mariners and Diamondbacks. So that said, schedule wise, let's attack that. Do you believe in the metrics that the Braves have a little bit easier schedule than the Phillies?
Yeah, I would say so, especially looking at I compared right before we got on both of their schedules because I had a feeling we'd talk about something like this. Um, the Braves don't have to go out west. The Phillies do. That's a big factor. And the Braves don't really have to go anywhere west of Milwaukee or Houston, if I remember correctly.
They go to Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
All right. Right in that ballpark is Minnesota. So we're not playing any late games. Philly's got to play a lot of late games, especially in Seattle. Like the game doesn't start till 11 o'clock, and we won't have a game that starts later than 8:30. We will be in a better spot mentally and physically to sustain the last 67 games of the season. Whereas the Phillies, they got to travel cross country. They got a tough schedule. They got to face some really, really good pitching staffs. And I think that could benefit us in the long run.
I do too. The second part of the schedule is we finish with home against Cincinnati at Miami. And by that point, both of those two teams could be done. Now, they may not be. Miami definitely may not be. But if we hear what we're hearing, Miami's not going to go for it. They may even sell that. You'll know that by what they do with Pete Fairbanks. If they sell Pete Fairbanks, okay, they're waiting to next year. If they keep him, that means they're going to try to probably add and go. You want to hear who the Phillies are finishing with? They're at home for all 6 games. They get the Rays and the Brewers.
Ooh.
Now, look, the Brewers might have already clinched. We'll see what happens there, but I think that's also an advantage, Braves. What about you?
I also think that's an Atlanta advantage, and I'm going to say why is because we might be fighting with the Brewers at that point for the fight for the number 2 seed, maybe the 1 seed if we go on an insane streak, but that could be the time where we fight with the Brewers for the number 2 seed, and to where we may not have to go to LA until the NLCS, which
I
would be
think you bring up
huge.
a good point. I don't think the Brewers will be punting. If we keep it close with other two teams, I think both teams are, no matter what the divisions are saying, are going to want to try to win that to get that bye before the second round. So we'll see. The other last thing as far as the schedule is when do we play the Phillies? 7 games in a 10-day stretch. Then we go to Philadelphia Labor Day weekend, finish on Labor Day. We play the Rays in between, and then the Phillies come to town. Will the division be decided in that 10 days, in your opinion?
Yes.
Yeah, I
However,
think
if so, how many games did you say that was? 10?
10 games I mean, 7 games in a 10-game stretch.
And then you throw 3 games with the Rays.
Yeah, we have
So
the,
if we win, if we take care of business and win 4 to 5 of those games, say we go split in those 7 games, we win 4 or 5, we win the division and it'll be done.
yeah, because the Phillies play the Astros at home. So it's kind of like both, that 10-game stretch is going to be, that's going to be pivotal for both teams. So we'll
Where are
see
we
how
playing
that,
Tampa?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
Is
play
Tampa at home
Yeah,
or is
it's
it on, is it on the road?
Tampa's at home.
Okay, good.
And then here's the deal. After that initial that they come to play us, they start another long road trip. It's their longest one of their longest road trips a year where they go to Washington and the Mets. So we'll see how that goes. So that's how the schedule. We say the Braves are favored in schedule. So the next thing you have to look at is injury wise. How are teams going to be injury wise? Well, we know this. Suarez will be back. Acuna will be back. Martin Perez will be back. Um, AJ Smith-Shawver should be back sometime in August, and Spencer Swellenbach could be back in September. Well, that'd be something. He gets back and pitches out of the bullpen in Philadelphia. They won't know what hit him in the fifth and sixth inning if Spencer takes them out like Didier did, and that's what they may do. They just did that with Richie. They just did that with Murphy. I think you're going to see the same thing with Sharver, and you're going to see the same thing. I think they learned their lesson with Waldrop. Pitch them out of the pen and work them that way up. What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree with that statement, especially on the Spencer Schwellenbach point. And if that happens and Swelly looks good, Philadelphia doesn't know what to hit him, and nor does the rest of the National League going into the postseason. Because if we want, we can throw Spencer Schwellenbach for 3 innings, or we could start Grant Holmes for 2 or 3 innings if we really wanted to. Maybe we were up 2 games to none in a series. Okay, here's Spencer Schwellenbach in the fifth inning. Go. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a big piece. We're trying to make sure he's healthy. Here's the other thing going in that. If we go to the Phillies, who are they getting back? They've been healthy. They're one of the healthiest teams in baseball. We're not trying to be Philly fans. Go ahead and throw us under the bus. You like to do that. I know you threw Kathy G under the bus this last week in Twitter. You have not been injured like we have. Now you were early in the year, and it was a big advantage for us probably because you didn't have Wheeler and all that stuff like that. So advantage goes to us as far as getting players back. Now let's go to the trade market. I hate to say this, AA, prove me wrong. This is where I think the Phillies have a huge advantage. Dombrowski does not care about the future. He gives zero. You know what the word is. Y'all put whatever word you want in there, whether it's the S word or the F word, about the future. AA cares about the future. He's a young GM signed to a long contract. So what the Phillies and Braves do at the trade deadline can be very important. Do you think the Phillies will win the trade deadline over us?
I will say depends on how these first 8 to 10 games go for us. If we go out and we go 5-3 or 6-2 in the first 8 games or something like that, oh, I think we're going to win that trade deadline over them. But if we go 4-4, something like that, I could see the Phillies doing something. And as you said, AA's young, Dombrowski's older. Dombrowski's going to go for it no matter what, whether that's he's going to go all out for Mike Trout or Tarek Skubal or Joe Ryan or whoever. Dombrowski's going to do it, and he's going to give up 2 players that will hurt him long term, but he won't even have a job because he'll probably either be gone or he'll just be retired.
I agree. And here's the problem that we have. We have the more prospects to give them. They have the more ESPN prospects. And what I say that is ESPN likes to build up its own ego and bias. As we know, they just rated our draft class the 24th best draft class. When I dive into all the really people who know this, that follow this day by day, they have us ranked as a top 5 draft class. That tells you ESPN's bias toward the Northeast. So forget about ESPN, but they're going to build up Andrew Painter like he's the next coming of Nolan Ryan. And we all have seen Andrew pitch. He's got a long way to go. So we'll see how that goes and who gets so. But guys, we have the more prospects to sell. We should have the better trade deadline, but I know Dombrowski doesn't care and he'll trade anybody, including the kid Hill, the kid Crawford. He'll trade any of those guys playing in the major leagues right now too. Raconis, he don't care. He's going to go for it. All right,
I
the
think
next
he'd
thing we
trade
have to look.
Gagewood too.
Yeah, yeah, good call. So the next thing we have to go look at is okay, of the Braves, who can be the X factor in the second half? Who's going to be the guy that we have to have a good second half?
I mean, I think it's the obvious one of two: Ronald Acuna or Austin Riley. And to our listeners, you could pick. I'm giving you two. You could pick because I'm going with either one. It has to be, I'm not saying it's got to be both. It has to be one of those two, has got to be the X factor in the second half of the season.
And I'll give you mine in a second. But I'd lean Acuna because Riley can play Brooks Robinson defense. So if Acuna gets hot offensively, we can live with Riley just slamming the corner down, nobody hitting the ball by him. And he will be willing to do that. He's running great. So if he gets walks, he'll get around the bases. So we'll see. It'll be great if we get both of them. But as far as the pitching side, I hate to say the X factor, and I hate to because it's going to sound like I'm just trying to keep him there. It's you. Because you have to add to this starting rotation. Now, however you do that, you know more than we do. You know how Spencer's throwing. You know how AJ's throwing. You know how the guys feel. And we didn't even mention Spencer Strider down there. Who knows what's happening with him? But I think we need to add a number 2 type starter, a Detmers, a Waka, a Logan Webb, Joe Ryan, Kyle Bradish. Now, all these teams are getting back in it. Casey Mize, I don't see him as a number 2, but the Tigers do. So AA's to me is the X factor. If he's never done this. He's never traded and got a big time starter. Never, never.
This is the year.
This is the year to
This
do
is
it.
the time, Alex, and you have the prospects to go
Yep,
do it.
you have to go do it. But I like the fact he's being patient. If they're trying to ask for too much, just wait on them. Just wait on them. So I like that. So you're the X factor. Who's going to be the biggest surprise in the second half that Braves look back and go? Because think about it. That guy in the 2021 season that we won the World Series was Eddie Rosario. None of y'all even knew who he was. He was coming off a back injury. They didn't even know if he would play that year. Not only did he play, he ended up becoming NLCS MVP. Who is the guy this year could be the biggest surprise?
This guy ended the first half really well. Ronaldo Lopez.
Uh,
Ronaldo Lopez can be a big factor um, to help us win, not only win the division, but go into October. His last start wasn't really all on him. Jorge Mateo, field a ground ball. Let's go. But Ronaldo Lopez has pitched really well since he's been back in the starting rotation, and I believe that he will be a huge X factor for this team in the second half.
and let me tell you something. He comes back and throws like he did in 20. Was it 24? Was it 24?
Yes.
Uh, he solidifies, and we have one of the best postseason roster. Again, if AA adds that number 2, if Reynaldo's your number 3 and he's pitching like he does in 24, watch out. We can win the whole thing. So I love that pick, Andrew. I'm going to go with a guy that's on the IL. I'm going to go Sean Murphy. I think Sean Murphy finally admitting he had an injury and getting right before he started this season was going to have a decent year. He needed some at bats. He had a freak injury. That was not Sean Murphy. That was a freak injury. And thank God Drake Baldwin didn't suffer the same thing, doing the exact same thing, putting his glove out too fast. I think Sean's going to get healthy, and Joey Bart has been so good for us. Guess what Sean can do? He can sit in Gwinnett and get his swing down. And I think in the end of August and September, Sean Murphy is going to hit like he did when he first got here. And even my boy Stash good friend of mine, Greg, is going to have to get on Twitter and apologize for all the bad stuff he said about Sean because I think he's going to be a big surprise. So, with that said, we got to get out of here. What is your prediction on the Atlanta Braves? Where are they going to do? Are they going to win the division, just make the playoffs, miss the playoffs? Are they going to win the division and get to the 2 seed or 1 seed? What is your prediction? We won't do postseason because we got to get them in the postseason. That all depends on who we play. Just regular season. Where are we going to finish in 2026?
We will win the division. I like that the Phillies have a really tough schedule and then a 3 city road trip on the West Coast that will, I think, really benefit us. And then I'm going to say we catch the Brewers. And I'm only saying that because the Brewers have 2 of their top 3 pitchers on the IL, Kyle Harrison and Brandon Woodruff. And Jacob Mizorowski, we don't know how healthy he truly is, whether it's his shoulder or his arm. We have no idea. And I think the Brewers offense can only take him so far, kind of like how our bullpen can take us so far. I think we're going to catch the Brewers, and we will be that number 2 seed. And there you go.
I like it. I think we're going to win the division, and I think we'll clinch the division on the last weekend. I think it's going to go to the wire. They'll hang in there. Remember, to clinch it, they got to be that many games up. So I can see us clinching it, but I think we have a chance to clinch it at home against Cincinnati. So we'll see how that is. As far as catching the Brewers, I don't. If you had to tell me which one's going to get hot, is Sal Frelick going to get hot for them, find his stroke, or is Austin Riley going to find his stroke? And yeah, I don't know which one will. I say whichever one finds their stroke will be the one that gets the 2 seed. But I will say I won't get into the postseason. I'm not. I was looking at the teams, and I'm not as upset if we get the 3 seed and have to play, other than having to play that extra round and burn Chris Sale. That would suck. So that's the reason why you want to
Yeah.
get to the 2 seed. So that's it. That is our second half preview. Leave us your comments, your thoughts, throw us under the bus, whatever you want to do. Do that. Before we get out of here, you got any final thoughts tonight?
Boys, it's ready to go. We're in mid-July. You guys are getting some of your guys back. It's go time. And I'm looking at you, AA. Show me
Yeah,
something.
I totally.
You Ken said all off season, you hold all the cards. You still hold those cards. You have really, really good prospects. It's time to go take a chance to go win a second World Series in 5 years. Think about that, race country. That is really hard to do. And if we could win a second World Series potentially in 5 years, that would be something amazing. And it's on you, AA. Go do it. Go help us win a World Series.
Final thought is this here. This is a pivotal homestand, so y'all get to the ballpark this weekend. Let's pack the place all 7 games. I know Thursday afternoon game will be tough because it's a work day, but you know, if you want to take a day off and go watch, it's probably going to be Chris Sale pitch. It's always a good thing. So let's have fans get out there. They got a ton of giveaways too coming up on this homestand, so don't miss that. There's no reason for you to miss getting out there. Remember to follow us at Hardcore Braves. My personal account's at Boyd PC15. Andrew's that is at Hot Atlanta Highlights on Instagram. His personal on Twitter is at Andrew Davidson _10, I think is what it is, isn't it, Andrew? And
Yep.
so remember Aaron on deck and the hip coil with Ryan and their personal. Check out the trade. We had a couple of trades we get to talk about this week, and we're getting closer to trade deadline. And we had a team at the All Star break secretly talk to reporters about selling that we haven't even mentioned, Andrew. I'm excited. So y'all check out the trade deadline for that. We appreciate you, Braves Country. We love you. And as always, peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.